What's going on YouTube? So on Car Confections channel, we spent some time with the refreshed 2024 Mercedes GLS 450. That is the model that most people will buy. But for those of you who want a little, or actually I should say a lot more performance, there's this right here. This is the GLS 63. This is your full AMG performance model, and we are going to test it out right now. So let's go ahead and get to it. Now obviously the performance is what's going to differentiate this the most, but Mercedes does do a good job with the design as well. So as you can see, you have that signature Mercedes AMG grille. So this is going to be a very large and prominent feature of the front end. You have the vertical slats that run all throughout, and you also have AMG badging up here on top of the hood. The lower fascia is also very aggressive with a lot of black accents and revised styling for more airflow. Now, of course, you also do have your full LED headlights. This is a very premium design. It's a multi-beam LED with our turn signal indicator and daytime running light built in. Now, the other thing you'll really notice about the exterior are these wheels. These are absolutely insane. These are the signature Mercedes monoblocks, and this is actually a 23-inch alloy, so it's absolutely a huge wheel size. With this special design, just be aware this is going to set you back nearly $6,000 if you want this option, but they're very, very distinct. Now, of course, you got your V8 bi-turbo branding up there. The mirrors will be fully blacked out, and we have the full assortment of features as you would expect.
Now here at the side, you're going to see that this is a big SUV. Even though it's an AMG, this is a big vehicle. It's about an inch longer, actually, than the regular GLS, coming in at about 206 inches in overall length. Now, as we head around to the rear design, this is also where you're going to see some special elements for the GLS AMG. So as far as the special touches that you're going to get, that's going to be mostly concentrated down in this diffuser area. All of this is going to be way more aggressive than a standard GLS. You'll notice that we actually have quad exhaust outlets, and that's going to be pumping out an absolutely fantastic sound. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Whew, that was an amazing exhaust. As far as your tow rating, the AMG does tow 7,700 pounds. And then as far as other design elements, just like any GLS for 2024, we have a slightly revised taillight design. It's going to be a full LED setup with your pieces through here, an LED amber turn signal, and LED reverse light. Overall, I just love the way the rear of this GLS looks. Now, as you would expect out of a $150,000 plus vehicle, you are going to have all your safety systems, for this GLS, and it's going to be a very advanced safety setup with every possible thing that you can even think of. But guys, there's also a cabin that has everything you can think of, so let's check that out. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's go ahead and get inside. For our key fob, we do have the stealthy full black key fob. Looks really, really nice. Feels super high quality in the hand. And then to get inside, just reach behind the handle, and that will unlock the door. Now, taking a look at the interior, for 2024, Mercedes did refresh this cabin. We have covered most of those changes pretty extensively in our previous review. I will mostly focus here on the AMG differences. The first difference is going to be with our seating. So as you can see, we do have a very aggressive seat. This is a full Nappa leather seat except for the suede inserts that actually wrap all the way around. And then, of course, you're noticing the bolstering. This is very aggressive. You kind of set down into this bucket seat, and it's going to really hold you in place even when you're driving super aggressively. You've got the same number of adjustments over here, so you have over 14 ways of adjustments, including our headrest. You're also going to have access to your heating and ventilation, as well as memory seats right here on the door trim. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now let's get into the overall cabin materials. So this is obviously going to come finished with really the finest selection. So you've got leather that even extends all the way across the top part of the door trim. It's also going to go all the way across this entire dashboard with stitching details that just go throughout. It looks really, really phenomenal. You've got a lot of different wood and other materials that you can choose from for your trim. We, of course, do have a high gloss wood, and then our center area is going to be a piano black with more of the Napa leather running along these nice handlebars. But let's go ahead and fire it up. So you get a nice little growl when you start it up, but it's not anything too crazy. Obviously, you can dial it up, though, if you want to. And let's get into some individual features. So taking a look at our displays, you've got the dual 12.3-inch displays. This is typical Mercedes stuff. You do have some special AMG designs, though, that you can change into if you prefer those. What I really love, besides for the head-up display, I want to go ahead and point that out. What I really love, though, is the steering wheel. What a beautiful steering wheel. I love AMG steering wheel. We've got the version that actually uses a suede or an Alcantara on the side part here. So it's very easy to grip. You can really hold on to this. You have leather across the airbag cover. You've got the cool new design for the touch capacitive buttons. And you also have these knobs right here where you can very easily switch between all your different drive modes and different customizations within those drive modes. The steering wheel itself is power tilt and telescoping and heated, of course. Taking a look inside of our console there, decent amount of storage. You've got a USB-C, and up in front of here, as we were looking at a little bit earlier, we do have heated cup holders, and we also have a wireless phone charging pad. Now the shifter itself, in typical Mercedes fashion, is up here on the column. Just press down for drive. You do have paddle shifters right there. Press up for reverse. And there's our 360-degree camera system. We can switch between all those views over there on the side so that you can see things like our 3D view. And then just press the N there to go into park. Now, as far as audio is concerned, you've got a couple different Burmester sound systems. You can get up to a 29-speaker Burmester high-end sound system. That's about a $5,000 option, but definitely a wide selection of phenomenal sound systems with beautiful speaker grills. That's a very critical part. We have standard 4-zone climate controls, nice physical controls made of metal for you to adjust them. You can also get an available 5-zone system. As far as the main infotainment screen here, again, the 12.3 inches. This is running the MBUX system, so it does have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for 2024. Up top, we have a auto-dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes. The headliner is also going to be finished in a beautiful Alcantara. And then if I press that button there, harder, we're going to get this sunshade to slide back. This is kind of a transparent sunshade, so a little bit of light does come through it. And as you can see, once it slides back, you have a very big piece of glass, and the front panel does open up.
Now, we are on a very tight time frame today while we're reviewing this GLS, so I'm going to be pretty brief as far as the rear seat area is concerned, but know that you have a lot of space. To be exact, you have well over 40 inches of legroom, tons of headroom as well, and as you can see, we do have the captain's chair setup that have a very similar design to what you get in the front, so it's overall a very beautiful place to spend time. As far as features, we have 2 cup holders. Leather goes all the way around these vents as well, and we have the 4-zone climate, as Drew was mentioning, in the front. Now, we also have this little area that pops out. 2 new USB-C ports are integrated there. And then over here on the door trim, this is where I want to point out that you do have power adjustments. That's actually standard equipment on the GLS, so you can adjust everything, including even stuff like your seat bottom and back adjustment. We also have heated rear seats on this example, and you can also get stuff like rear window sunshades. So an exquisite place to spend time, even though this is a performance SUV. Now, as you can see, the seat is moving up and out of the way for the third row. It is a fully power setup here, so that makes getting into the third row quite easy. Once I get back here, we're sitting at about 34.6 inches of legroom, which is a lot. That's one of the really cool things about the GLS is that you have room for 6 people to fit very comfortably. There's a lot of features back here, including USB ports and leather, really from top to bottom. So overall, a very nice third row in the GLS. Let's check out the cargo area. So this is a GLS after all. That's really the reason why you buy a GLS AMG, is you want the performance without the sacrifice in space. We're going to have about 17 cubic feet behind the third row. If we reach up here and fold the third row seats down, which we can do with the power switches right here, if I can figure it out, there we go. Well, it's kind of doing it here, but we do have about a little over 40 cubic feet with the third row folded down, and then as a maximum, we're going to be sitting well into like the 70 and 80 cubic feet range. So we really have a good amount of space, and that's part of the beauty of this vehicle. But I know you're wanting to see this vehicle out on the road, so let's go ahead and dive into that without further ado.
Oh my.
Wow.
What a sound.
Woo-wee. All right. So as you can see, we are behind the wheel of the Mercedes-Benz GLS 63 AMG. This is the part of the video that I know you've probably been waiting on. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our sound level reading. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
Oh.
Whew.
That's the sound of a handcrafted V8, 603 horsepower.
Whew.
This is a monster for sure. And the sound is insane.
Yeah.
The active exhaust on this model is absolutely spectacular. We're currently in the Sport Plus mode, so that is going to just dial up the exhaust to its maximum. But you can also modify that in your own custom drive modes if you want to play around with different combinations of settings. You guys know if a Mercedes is going to allow you to do whatever you want. They've got endless options and customizations that you can make. But it's certainly the sound and the performance are going to wow you.
Absolutely incredible. So just to kind of hit you with the specs right off the bat. So this is a handcrafted 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 603 horsepower, as he just mentioned. You're also going to have 627 pound-feet of torque. New this year is that you have the mild hybrid setup. So you have the hybrid assist, which actually helps to boost power, as well as power stuff like a very advanced auto start-stop system. So there are some new elements for this refresh. Of course, like the whole engine or whatnot is not very different this year, but there are some tweaked elements when it comes to the overall powertrain experience for 2024. And all of those tweaked elements do get this 27 more horsepower than the 2023 GLS. So certainly some pretty substantial upgrades this year when it comes to the refreshed model.
Fantastic. So the 9-speed automatic on board really shifts very crisply. You obviously can use the paddle shifters as well if you want to take manual control. And yeah, that absolutely feels fantastic. The other thing I was noticing, just kind of going around those corners, this thing is very, very stable. You would not expect a 3-row giant SUV like this to be as nimble as this is. So you can see, as soon as I turn off center, you really get that immediate response. There's not much body roll at all. Yeah, I have to say, I'm very impressed. I mean, AMG, they of course, always really go all in. They're not just putting a big engine in a GLS and calling it good. This is a totally different product from a GLS 450 or 580.
Yeah, and AMG specifically tuned the suspension. And speaking of the suspension, you do have an air suspension on board. So that, of course, allows you to have that adaptability. You know, if you just have a traditional suspension, it doesn't, you know, adjust as much, but having this full air suspension allows them to tune it exactly the way you want it for a sport mode, and then as we head into like a comfort setting, it's going to ride just like any other GLS.
Right, let's go ahead and cycle into that. Like I mentioned on the interior, I love this knob just right here on the steering wheel. You don't have to look for any modes in the screen or anything like that.
Yeah, the engine definitely quiets down.
So you can just tell immediately. Everything just kind of relaxes again. And this is what, as Mason was saying, is one of the special things about this, is the duality of how this can be really high performance, but it can also be everyday livable and comfortable at the same time.
Yeah, as far as the ride quality in comfort mode, yes. Yes is all I've got to say. It's really, really good. Even with, I mean, these absolutely massive wheels. These are $6,000 optional wheels. And, you know, you would think that might give you horrible ride quality. And I'm happy to tell you, going over that train track there, it is not bad at all. You know, it's not going to be as good as something like a, you know, regular GLS with the air suspension that's on smaller wheels. But overall, I do think this strikes a really, really good balance for those stylish wheels on the outside, the performance of the AMG in sport mode. So I'm very happy with the overall setup here. Comfort mode.
When you put your foot down, you're going to hear it even if it's in comfort mode, that's for sure.
Now, the 0 to 60 on this is 4.1 seconds. So, yes, this is a big SUV, 4 seconds, 0 to 60, very impressive. As far as the fuel economy is concerned, as you might expect, this doesn't get fantastic fuel economy. However, we're sitting at 14, 18, 16 miles a gallon combined. So, overall, I think it's pretty decent fuel economy for what you're getting here. It's actually going to match that of the GLS 580. So if you get a V8, you might as well get the 63 when it comes to fuel economy.
Great way to justify it.
Although the 450 comes in at 21, so about a 5 mile per gallon penalty over that model. But you don't care. There's no way you care after hearing that engine note. And now it's time for us to talk about our airball and slam dunk, which is our least favorite element about the GLS AMG. As far as this area is concerned, I would say the slam dunk just has to be that duality of this vehicle. It's extremely luxurious. You have all the great GLS characteristics, but you also have that performance side of things. So these types of vehicles just absolutely nail that aspect. Now on the airball side of things, I guess we could just say it's the price. I mean, when you choose a vehicle like this, I guess you're not really all that concerned about price. However, this is significantly more expensive than a standard GLS and significantly more expensive than the 580, which also has a V8. So if you want this full AMG experience, you will be paying a lot of money, which we're about to talk about. Now, this GLS AMG isn't going to come cheap, and for the 63 model, we're starting at around $145,000. The price of this particular unit is on the screen right now, but we're well into the $150,000 range, so do be aware it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Now, if you're looking to buy a Mercedes GLS or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on a new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be where we wrap up this in-depth review of the refreshed 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLS 63. If you enjoyed watching this video, which we hope you did, please hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. And we do a lot of car reviews on this channel that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. And we also have a lot of fun, which I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.